Welcome back to the Wormhole Extremists, Lost City Part 1. My name is David, and I'm with Nicole
Hello.
and Evie.
Hello.
Yeah, we're going to be watching both episodes today, so there is going to be a break for us in
We
between.
are.
Where is this, Evie? Jack's
What,
bathroom.
what do you, Jack's bathroom?
Evie's favorite
Absolutely.
place.
Well, I don't know about that, but adjacent to maybe? I don't know. So
It is adjacent to the bedroom, probably.
yeah, exactly. I was just trying to be a bit silly. So this episode was written by Brad Wright and Robert C. with Martin Wood directing, and the two-part story was originally conceived as a 120-page feature film to end SG1 and launch into Atlantis. But when it was renewed for season 8, they adapted it into this finale, and I believe that this had the largest budget since Children of the Gods, which makes sense with the ending.
Daniel
Um,
continues indistinctly.
yeah,
I
I know,
love
I
that.
love that.
In the captions. Oh, that's funny.
And the crossword puzzle reference particle physics. So Jack is listing the 6 types of quarks. I didn't actually understand this reference. So Daniel's immediate answer of strange, I think, kind of suggests that maybe he's picked up some knowledge from Sam over the years, being that it's like
So Strange is one of the
physics and
quarks?
particles. Yeah, it is. It's quark is up,
Wow.
down, charm, strange, top, and bottom.
Amazing.
Oh, wow. I finally get
Yeah,
it
so you didn't
after.
know that either.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't.
I wondered if that was the case, but I didn't get it. I was like, I feel like this is an answer he's giving him, but a joke one that Jack's not going to get.
Yes.
And me being basically Jack, because the audience, I also don't get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Elizabeth Weir.
The
Yes.
OG.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yes.
I love Jessica Steen. I love her.
I think she does a good job. So, obviously, Tori Higginson takes over in season 8 and Atlantis. And I believe, David, you interviewed Jessica on Dial the Gate,
Yep.
and she revealed that she wasn't very familiar with SG1 at all before being cast, but she described herself as a bit of a softcore sci-fi fan. And she deliberately went in thinking she didn't need to know anything, and she was planning to learn everything alongside the fans as her character discovered the truth about the Stargate program.
Yep.
Yep.
Also, that Russian man is Igor Morozov, and
Oh, that
he's
was
actually from
Russian. Okay.
Desperate Measures. Yeah, he played a roadblock officer, a roadblock soldier.
Oh.
And the secret agent person that we saw is Mark Pawson, and he was a reporter in Chain Reaction, and he also appears in Atlantis's Trinity and Continuum,
There we go.
which is kind of cool.
Robert Kinsey's back. He has a lot of stuff this
Uh,
season.
Yeah, he does.
Well, tell us how
yeah.
you really feel, Evie. And then it's like, Ronnie Cox is back. Yay!
He's such a good character, but he's a good character that you just love to
That's
hate.
it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
And
seeing him go.
he does such a fantastic job at that. I feel like pretty real emotions whenever his character comes on screen, but that
Yup.
means he's doing a good job.
That's it.
So,
Indeed.
It's working.
um, let me just see
Because
here.
we've
So
all
I
seen
believe,
villains who are like, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. You know?
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
just, that's awful.
He's such a great villain. He like pops out of the screen and
He sure
makes you
does.
have like an actual like visceral reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that Amanda Tapping shot all of her scenes over 16 days while she was simultaneously preparing to direct Resurrection.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes,
Lot
because
of work.
Resurrection was shot after.
it was. Yeah, that was the last one that they shot this season. And I believe that this limo scene, let me see what I've got here. So Kinsey, I'm thinking, so I was kind of looking at this limo scene and comparing it to the last time we had Kinsey and a limousine. So he kind of seems to have a weird habit of intercepting people in limousines on their way to meet the president.
Yep.
Except, like, this time, instead of canceling the meeting like he did with Jack, he's hoping to turn Weir into some sort of willing ally before she gets there.
It's like the
And
weirdest, most threatening carpool. When's the
uh,
karaoke
and
gonna start?
yeah, exactly. David, when you interviewed Robert C. In one of your many interviews, he praised Ronnie Cox's performance and he said that they would have him back any time that they could because he made such a good foil. And Robert said that Kinsey wasn't written as an arch villain necessarily,
Martin
but he
Wood.
was often right, and it is Martin Wood, often right and simply on one side of the argument. So this episode sort of represents the culmination of a character that had been percolating for years.
Oh, very
was
much
his
so.
words. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was I saying "Oh my God" in the limo? Isn't that a bit longer in the normal cut?
I don't think so.
I feel like
I
it went
don't
on a few
know.
seconds longer. Maybe I'm just delulu.
Very good. They're working on the door there. The door is broken. I never noticed that before.
You wrote the word fat.
That's
Oh, my favorite.
I love the little exchanges between SG1 and this episode.
This crossword
Reynolds.
is really just
It's
the best part of this
adorable.
episode.
Reynolds has been let in on the action now.
I'm so
Yeah,
happy for him. He deserves
absolutely.
this.
He does.
Yeah.
So,
So this is a Friday, by the way.
it is a it is a Friday. And I was going to say, in terms of, the weekly schedule, I think Martin Wood said something about how they used to save up their Rick days.
Yes.
So that they saved up a whole heap so that they could feature him as much as possible in this finale.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's why he's so absent so much. Because
Yes.
they need him here.
Saving him up.
By the way, in case the audience isn't aware, Nicole does have a cold right now. So
I think
You
you're doing
actually
pretty
don't
good
sound too
considering.
congested.
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Whatever you took is working. The
Yeah.
Jack and Daniel is a nice nod to previous
Yep.
seasons.
Yeah.
Actually, the way that they relate to each other in these two episodes is like peak
Yes, very
Jack
much
and Daniel,
so.
I think.
Oh, the
Yeah.
chemistry is
The
fantastic.
chemistry is like popping.
I've invited Eric Brecker on. He's said no.
Oh, that's so
Oh,
sad.
That's okay.
Yep.
He's
I
got
mean, you know
probably
what?
other
I've
things
invited
going
people
It
on
was
who
a
have
long
said
time
no that
ago.
say yes later. So you know what?
That's
Yeah,
it. He might come
maybe.
around.
Come back around.
Yeah.
So I think since season 6, the writers have been sort of systematically eliminating Earth's allies to set up this story.
They're doing
where
what they
Earth
did in
faces
season 5.
a threat
Correct.
completely alone.
Yeah.
And I think Hammond's about to say about the alien allies being unreliable, sort of directly references this
Oof.
plot.
It's an arc in the hero's journey. You know, the hero has masters and has assistants along the way to advise, but at the darkest hour, the hero stands alone. And in this case, the hero is
Yeah.
this unit.
That's it.
And I'm sad
yeah.
because the Toker aren't there, and I'm still bitter about it, and I'll forever be bitter. But you know what? Not everything's always going to be hunky dory, is it? So
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't always count on your allies. I think you need to have the strength to be able to stand on your own 2 feet.
damn right.
Yeah.
Still sucks.
Oh yeah, 100% sucks.
So I just want to say as well, I watched Stargate in a fangled order, right? So I saw none of season 6 or 7, and
Okay.
I jumped straight to Daniel dying, straight to this.
Which one?
And when-
Meridian?
Meridian.
God.
Okay,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, what happened?
You saw
What
some
did I
heavy
miss?
episodes back to back.
But I also had not seen the original Headsucker episode, so I hadn't seen Fifth Race. So I went, sorry, what is this? They did a great job recapping it for me as a child to understand, so I appreciate the writing.
Yeah, the way that you watch Stargate just makes me like I've got like a tick that I've developed.
I know. We're almost past the worst of the worst. This is like the most damaging thing, I think, was watching this when I did. And we already got past season 2, which is one of the last seasons I ever watched. So, yeah.
Season 2 was the last season you ever watched.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mum bought
Wow.
me the DVD because my stepdad deleted the recordings from our TV.
Oh,
Punished me for being a
stepdad.
naughty teenager. So,
Oh, wow.
Let's not get into
Yeah,
my
punishment.
punishments. Jeez.
yeah, mine wasn't that bad. What a way to be punished. But it really got me in my heart. Stargate means
Oh, I
the
bet
world.
it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Try going into the yard and picking your own switch off the tree.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right, gang. Beautiful shots.
Let's go. The action in this episode is great. Although, like, I've seen so many behind the scenes for this. It's oh yeah, what I will say as well, I remember the behind the scenes of Michael Shanks being told it's almost like Jack's like washing you when the phone is under the water in the sink. And so Michael Shanks like kind of opens up his jacket a bit and starts like pretending that like Richard Dean Anderson is like giving him a soothing shower. And
Oh, was that seriously?
Yeah, and then he pushes the
that's
camera
funny.
away as like a joke, you
Oh,
know.
that's cute.
Of course,
Yeah.
that's really cute. So there's kind of a, I guess you kind of call it like a continuity error. So we can see this large monument
Colonnade
and it sort
continuity?
of appears and disappears between shots.
Interesting.
So you can sort of see it when they arrive, you hear it, you see it here, and when they retreat. But when they're examining the repository, it kind of just it looks very small, like as you can see it here. So I think this would have been the far left.
Yeah,
of
we saw the
big
figures in the wide
monuments.
shot. We saw the figures, at the bottom on the left.
I love
But,
that
I
they
mean,
were like,
that'd
let's
just be-
save money by just
Yeah.
having a foot.
No one will notice.
Look, even in Star Wars, Yavin disappears for the entire Death Star sequence once they go in close. So you got a huge red gas giant in the
right.
sky, and they didn't shoot it. So in one of the fan re-releases,
wow.
they reinsert Yavin. So you know what? You got to give him some
Yavin,
credit.
Get your moment in the
do.
sun.
That's it.
So
The gas giant.
so these alien world scenes were actually filmed in the grass fields around Maple Ridge, and due to the unusually warm weather and the wildfire risk, I think the effects team sprayed like 10,000 gallons of water on the fields
Yep.
before filming.
Bags of gasoline,
And,
burying bags of gasoline and exploding them. Yeah.
Gasoline,
Mm-hmm.
gasoline
Yeah.
explosions, and the Maple Ridge Fire Department was, of course, on standby.
Absolutely.
This is one of those scenes, like the shooting about to come up, is one of the only times I accept the stormtrooper aim, because Anubis doesn't want to destroy this device.
No.
So
true.
Yeah.
their
He
aim
has an
being
agenda.
absolute arse makes sense for once. So
Yes.
yay.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
dear.
They've done a better job of the prop morphing from one version to the other, because it's just
Yeah.
it's a morph. That's all it is.
Yeah,
They've got
they've
different
had a few
versions of
years.
it, and then
That is Ron Blecker.
yep.
That said about the multiple bogies. So he's the show's military advisor throughout all
That's
10
cool.
seasons, and this is his first credited on-screen appearance as a SG3 airman. And I believe he actually owns a company that provides weapons-trained performance and military police consultants to film and television productions, which is pretty cool.
There you go.
And also they were keeping the wormhole active to prevent enemies from coming through, which is a very Gore-Wall sort of tactic.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they've adopted it because it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They could have done that before, like as soon as the ships came into orbit. So they're kind of lucky.
Yeah.
Oh, Lost
Also, the
City, Schmoss
C4
City.
The C4 kind of moves about 6 inches between shots.
Oh yeah, look at that.
And you can clearly see that the monument has shrunk because, like, based on its original size, these pillars should have been the toes from the
Amazing.
left-hand side, and
Yeah.
the rest of the right side should be visible behind Jack, but it's completely gone.
Is it supposed to be the toes?
I think it's supposed to be the toes.
I think it's like
It is the toes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured
He's
it was
sitting
the
on a chair.
base that they.
Toes.
Yeah, but I mean, his foot is
Yeah.
awfully. I thought his foot was above that. But anyway, we'll see.
But yeah, look,
Oh
there's
yeah,
nothing
look at
above it
that.
either.
There sure isn't. Man.
That's okay. They're saving all of their
Here we
their,
go.
their
Yeah,
budget
you're
for
right.
the last.
So, ladies and
couple of
gentlemen, Jack is
sequences.
doing his why. I don't like that the thing that wraps around his head has no movement. Well, it does kind of there, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's just me.
Oh, there's the shot
complaining.
from the first time. Classic.
Yeah,
Aw.
that's it. Nice reuse where appropriate.
Yeah, so when I was a kid and I first watched this, I went, sorry, what? Who are the ancients and what is happening?
That's exactly
What's
right.
the Lost
God.
City? What are they talking about? And then all
No
of a
idea
sudden
what's
I'm
going
in
on.
Atlantis and I'm going, what?
See, it just
before I
it
know
just
it, you know.
appears again.
I suppose
Yeah, I'm
that
pretty
it's
sure
just
that's where they
toes.
were.
Yeah.
They were on
Yeah.
the toes.
Interesting. Good
Damn.
use. This episode is a great balance of action moments,
Yep.
VFX moments, and
Yes.
slow character pieces. Man, what a sequence! That's one of the best from the show, right there.
Yeah.
See,
it is
now
very
the
good.
terrible aim is not as acceptable. Because
Yeah.
it's like, guys, just
Yeah,
end
that's
it.
all over now. Yeah. Do you notice the gliders are shaped a little differently? The
No, I
wings, the
didn't
wings are
notice that.
straighter. Yeah, go back and look
Yeah.
at them. They're more
Ah.
sweeping. They're not curled.
So Anubis likes his
Whose glider's nice and straight.
sweeping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's a perspective thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
I have to go and look. That is so cool. Get your Alkesh here. And your plasma torpedoes.
So there's kind of a bit of a continuity error. The gate appears to close immediately after SG1 comes through, but there are other team members like right behind them.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Also,
is fast. Wow.
The grey-haired soldier that's kind of limping, that is Jason Calder, who appears as another SG3 soldier. And by this point, he had actually acted in 13 previous episodes of Stargate and performed stunts in 17 SG1 episodes.
Wow.
I love how employed these people are on this show. It makes me happy.
And I
Back in the
believe
White
in the
House.
original script, there was a elaborate parachute sequence from a cargo shipper that was cut
For
budget
part 2.
reasons.
Yes.
So
That was part 2?
That was
Okay,
part 2.
I've
They were
got
supposed
that
to
in the wrong
parachute
bit.
into the cave.
Ah.
Oh,
Rather than
I opened up
rings.
my TikTok today, and immediately I saw the X-Men 2 scene where they attack the White House, and I was like,
what a
"That's perfect timing,"
coincidence.
because I'm going to see that set
Yes.
all day today. So
Yes. So I think Martin Wood said that because of the X-Men 2 restrictions, they had to be very careful with how they used the set, and they had to be very careful.
So they were still
what
filming
they
the
did so
movie.
it didn't damage it. That's my understanding
I
because it
didn't
said
know that.
it literally said they had strict instructions not to damage it. So they had to be very careful, particularly where Anubis appears as a hologram to the
which is
president.
super, super interesting because Tanith, who is no longer in the show, he was in X-Men 2. So
Oh, what a coincidence.
yeah,
That's
a
right.
lot of crossovers.
So William Devane obviously returns as President Hayes.
Yes.
And Martin Wood praised William's portrayal, especially appreciating that he played a very capable president who asks for information instead of, assuming that he has all of the information.
Is it weird that he
And,
sounds like a president to me? Like he has that kind of
He
voice.
does. He has a presidential look.
Yeah.
That's
does.
why they cast him, and that's why he has been cast as a president so many times before, because he just has this like look of authority about him, but also kind of a calming aura. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to say as well that I believe that Jessica Steen said that she felt intimidated coming into such an established cast as a guest star, holding a position of power, especially when she's telling the leads what was happening. And I don't know
Right.
whether it was sort of nervousness was like bleeding through her work at all, or if it was a deliberate acting choice. But I think it works perfectly for that past scene with the president. She
I
was
do
like.
too.
We was literally in uncharted territory.
You would be
so.
in shock. You just found out
Oh.
that aliens exist. And that
And
there
you're
are
meeting
other
the president.
planets. And you're meeting the president of the United States.
Yeah.
That was the only thing you knew
Massive
you were going to
day.
do when you went to bed last night.
Yes.
Like
Jacob said,
Kay says, imagine what you'll know tomorrow.
Jacob said 5 languages. She's got nothing on Dr. Jackson.
That's it.
Yeah.
22. 23 if you include Unas.
Yep, she's got to up her game.
Mars SpaceX said, does anyone else think the device was not meant to download all the knowledge, but could be downloaded in specifics, like Merlin's device? But O'Neill doesn't know how to use it. So
So the
that's why. I
Asgard
do wonder
say
that.
it's not meant for us, which suggests
Yeah.
that the capacity of an ancient mind could handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could maybe download chunks at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If it was broken, if one of them was broken, I would get that happening. But 2 of them have now done the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, but it's a good thought.
Yeah.
New government division, the International Oversight Advisory.
Yes.
IOA. We're gonna have so much fun with them.
Oh man, because politics is so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it just scrambles my brain. So this conversation obviously reveals the broader political implications of the Stargate program potentially going public, which sets up major changes for the series. And I believe there was even a cut scene where the president tapes his address,
That's
revealing
correct,
the
and it was
Stargate
used
program to the public.
and it was used in Continuum.
Oh, that's cool. It's good that they were able to reuse that because that's pretty awesome.
Yep,
That was reused footage.
that's it. He's in the
That's
oval
so
on the TV screen. He's like, this can only play
Yeah.
for so long. Yeah,
Yeah.
because sooner or later it will go public. And,
It will, yeah.
I think he's right. People will panic.
Yeah.
So I think the version that we see in The Road Not Taken is a very realistic possibility.
So I had this misunderstanding when I was growing up. I think just talking to the wrong people about why they replaced Dr. Weir. And someone once said to me that's because Tori Higginson had a more tough exterior
No.
and could be the. I know that's not the case anymore. Your interview,
I
like,
will
really
reveal the
showed me
reason
that.
in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember being like, that sounds weird. Okay. And now I know the truth. I'm like, oh wow, I hate that people told me lies.
The
So we're going to
middle
hear his catchphrase, never going to happen.
never gonna happen.
Anyway,
That's
so
it.
David,
Middle
go for it.
left is Bonnie Arbuthnot, the first Get in the Gate winner. Through Sci-Fi Channel. This
that's so
went on for
cool.
several years. So she was a Stargate fan. She was the first one who won.
Yes.
Her alternate take that they did at least 2 or 3. She said he also said in another version, I hope you brought your checkbook.
Oh, that would have
love
been
that.
cool to include. I
I
didn't
would
know
have
that
loved
bit.
to have been old enough to do the Get in the Gate competitions. It would
Yeah.
have meant so much. But I
Here we
want a
go,
different
he's doing it
competition
again.
that got me friendship and this podcast. So a win is a win.
Yeah. Look at that expression on her face.
Yeah, she sees
He's
right through him, and I'm glad she
disgusting.
does.
Yeah. You slimy son of a.
Snake.
Here we go.
Oh, I know.
Here we go. Oh, God, I really want donuts now.
Why donuts?
Sort of.
Because Teal'c's about to bring donuts in a few
Teal
minutes.
brings donuts.
Does he bring donuts? Okay.
Yeah,
He does,
I
yeah.
was like,
Teal
I remember
always brings
donuts from
donuts.
Chimera, but yeah.
Nah. Oh, he's got donuts.
And they order a pizza, which we never see.
Yeah, actually, because they think Hammond's the
No, we
pizza boy.
don't.
Uh-huh.
They do, yeah. You're not the usual pizza delivery.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I
this is
paused
big.
and rewound the scene so many times growing up.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Yeah, this is...
But I think
Go ahead.
Funny story,
sorry.
really.
Yeah, go ahead.
it's. Oh, I was just going to say, I think for two people who can't admit their feelings, this is a pretty big scene. So
It's so
Sam
loaded.
like unconsciously drives to Jack's house, and then she suggests that she should have taken the ancient knowledge instead,
Right.
and then he calls her a national treasure.
I
So
know.
I think it's their like deflection heavy lanage. You know, she's
Yeah.
saying she couldn't stay away, and he's saying that she's irreplaceable. It's just like
I know.
So Gecko Fat Web says, I has food because I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, damn. You know
well
what?
prepared.
I've got mini donuts in the next room. I'm going to break them out between
You're gonna have to go
episodes.
have some.
So
Yeah.
she picked up a baby picture of Wiley.
Ah.
That's not
is that
Charlie. It's
Wiley?
Wiley.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I love that they included that. That's
Yeah.
adorable.
I can wash one. I love that he has no clean glasses.
Yep.
Well, if you're
Typical
if you're
guy.
expecting to die, then why bother doing the washing up?
Yeah. But like, how many glasses is one guy using? Just reuse that one glass.
It's probably what he does. He probably just takes the nearest one, washes it, and reuses it.
Oh gosh. So I do love that she came in and was like, "Oh, funny story," and then I love that in a minute Daniel and Teal are going
Funny.
to come in and go, "Funny
Yeah.
story."
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. They spend too much time with each other. They're just inside of each other's heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finish your beer. You haven't even started your beer.
Mars SpaceX, I have been relieved of my command line is crushing. Yeah, I'll never forget that. What were
I
they
love that
going
they-
to say had they not been interrupted?
I know they're sitting here trying to have a conversation. It's all very loaded and awkward, and it's so
They're
it's
so
so funny that
awkward with each other.
I know it hurts me. And Daniel and Teal coming in breaks that tension, and like they all have such a good chemistry together that it all becomes easy again. But this is hard. You know?
So this National Treasures bit is not in all of them?
It's not in all of them. No, the Netflix version had it cut, and I was devastated.
Just to trim 2 seconds out?
Yep, a couple,
Wow.
a couple
Trim
moments were
something else,
trimmed.
surely.
I know. Yeah.
The syndicated version of Continuum has the only scene that's removed is the scene of Daniel talking to himself. Calling
That's a great
himself,
scene.
calling himself and saying, you're right,
How
Dr.
dare
Jackson,
they?
you're right. It doesn't matter who I am, you're right. So
Yeah, so UK Netflix cut it out, and I remember I didn't have the DVDs or any other way to watch it at the time, like accessible. So I ended up watching it on Netflix and being really pissed when I realized one of my favorite moments was taken out. So
Urias never enjoyed the Sam Jack
Just
hidden love
impeccable
thing.
timing
Yeah.
as always, Daniel.
They were interrupted, and the way that they're kind of like almost like kind of frustrated at it, like what were they gonna
I think
say?
they're
I wish
frustrated,
I'd
but also
known.
kind of relieved.
Yeah,
It gets pushed off yet again.
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's
forever.
put a pin in that
Is that one
again.
of the plants that's in Atlantis? I'm just
I'm
curious.
sure. I'd
Oh,
love it to be. That'd be funny.
The potted plants in the hallway there. It's a
galaxy
funny
hopping
story.
plant.
See these little bits of comedy.
Yeah, he
She
does
just
have a
looked at
box
me and
of
did the
donuts. There
eyebrow
we
thing.
go.
Excellent.
It's donuts. Excellent. Yes, Montgomery Burns.
Uh,
Excellent.
okay,
So
so just
good.
for a second, you can actually see David Pelfey's wrist under the coat
You can?
when he
Amazing.
raises his hand to silence them. Just a little tiny bit, just a little bit of skin. Just when he turns his wrist, you can
Oh,
see
there
like
it
a little
is!
bit
Oh
of
my
skin. Yeah.
God!
Wow. Never noticed that. Ruining the magic.
I thought he was a real, like, half-ascended being. So this is cranberry juice, according to the DVD commentary. And I think Joseph Malozzi said that this gathering scene was one of his favorite moments of the season because it shows the team as friends
They
rather
never do it.
than just
Yeah.
colleagues.
Yeah.
And
They never have the
Daniel's,
time in the story.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
So this is
There's
one
there's like more
story in
important
two
stuff.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Daniel's alcohol
This
intolerance
is so
kind of
good.
reminds me of Doc Brown in Back to the Future
Yeah.
Part 3 when he's
Yeah.
like kind of sort of acting drunk, but he's still
Actually,
cradling
what I
his
could
first
really use
drink.
is Tylenol. Yeah.
But the bartender said that's his first one
That's
and
his
he hasn't
first
even
one.
touched it
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, it's because he was down about Clara. So
Yes.
Burns as Gould, is he meaning that Burns is like a Gould?
I think so. Like there's
Okay.
elements of Gouldness
Oh
about
yeah, for sure.
Burns. Yeah. And he mentioned giving it to Sila, so that comes up again in Reckoning Part 2.
It
That's
does.
right.
Yeah.
Goes to silent.
Yeah.
He gets it.
The way that Hammond just walked straight in.
Oh, Hammond.
He owns that entryway.
Yeah.
I miss Don.
Me too.
Yeah.
This is the last regular episode for him.
Oh my God,
Yes,
yeah.
it absolutely is a part of the regular cast. Yeah.
I'm so thankful that I got to know him.
Yeah, I'm quite envious of that
That's not why I'm
because
saying
he
it, but
seems
yeah.
like such an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a Guinness now. I want a Guinness and I want a donut. I've got my week planned. I'm doing that.
Guinness and donut. Week
Yep.
complete.
I'm going to send you some pictures during the week of me having both.
I know
or-
you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guinness
Oh,
doesn't
and
travel, so enjoy it over there.
I missed a little bit, so
Oh no.
no, it's not huge. It's honestly not huge. But Jack said I find it a refreshing substitute for food,
Yes.
but it was supposed to be I find it a refreshing meal replacement, and he ad-libbed it.
Oh, okay.
So
I think it's
I was going
funnier
to say
than a
about
substitute for food. Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say about Don Davis. So Don actually volunteered to have Hammond retire so that Jack could take command, and this would make things a lot easier for RDA's like reduced schedule. And I think, according to Joe Malozzi, this was typical of Don's incredible generosity.
It's not just
That's
that.
so
His health
generous.
reasons were also
His health.
beginning
It's all
to
a
become
combination.
problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, David, when Robert Cooper talked to you about Don, he described him as just the loveliest guy who was incredibly generous and gracious about the transition and never made a big deal about his health issues. And he
Yeah.
called him a trooper. So he said that Don felt quite lucky to have had the opportunity and wasn't resentful at all about stepping aside. And
He only had 1 or 2 days a
Jessica-
week, so
Yeah.
Yeah. Jessica Steen also mentioned in her interview how watching Don perform reminded her of his ability to hold that weight so well as the father figure of the show. And this sort of represents a pretty major shift in the show's structure after 7 seasons. And it's made all the more meaningful knowing how gracefully Don like handled the transition for the character. Because he'd kind of been like an anchor in the series from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's going to be weird having Jack replace him as general. Urias Tosh said this two-parter is peak Stargate. Really, season 7 and 8 has some of the best stuff in the series. I agree. I think that season
Yeah.
7 to 8 has some of the peakest Stargate. And Urias Tosh followed it up later saying Ascension Diner in season 8 is just perfection.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I agree. I love it so much. I'm
Absolutely.
I'll
excited.
have the truth with a side of clarity, please.
Yeah. And it tastes like syrup.
I love this exchange here.
Yeah,
As
so
Bluetooth
do I, because you
devices were
think
beginning
she's
to come to
been
their
such
own.
an idiot.
Yeah. I really don't care. It's like, oh my God. He goes,
There
okay.
it is. Yeah. Get used to it, girl. You're going to have them in your ear the entire time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would think they would have really good cell reception in there or really good landlines.
They need to have good connections in there
Oh,
because
see,
if the
now
end of the
she
world
sounds-
happens, you can't be, stopped by
That's
Wi-Fi
it.
or connections.
Wait, yeah, let me just find a good signal. What was that? The world is ending?
Yeah. Sorry, what?
Sorry, Daniel sort of claims that
Yes.
he was staring at the Stargate for hours, which contradicts the original movie where he only saw the gate after deciphering the
Show
address.
it.
But
Yep.
he's just like embellishing the truth to ensure that we understands how invaluable he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
It's
may
very
be
self-serving,
doing
but
that.
yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good rationale to think about. I never thought he was lying. I just thought that in the movie we watched the James Spader version, not the Michael Shanks version
Yeah.
of that universe.
I would have found it really interesting if they went back and reshot the movie with this cast and how that would have looked.
I don't know, it might have been kind of jarring.
To have
Yeah.
Jessica, I'm sorry, I didn't catch you. What did you ask?
Having this cast do the original film, like having Michael
Yeah.
Shanks and RDA instead, would have been interesting to see.
Yep.
There would
It
have been
wouldn't have
no
gotten the
role
box
for
office attention it needed.
Amanda.
No.
Yeah.
And also Michael would have been like 18, 17.
Yeah, I
A
was going to
wee
say
baby.
So,
a wee
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kind of a little bit harder to kind of imagine him as being a scholar if you're like 18.
Mhm.
I love that this is the same Dr. Weir who in like 2 years, no, in about a year, is going to be going over to the Janai and being like, "Give us your bombs.
Yes.
We need to use them on the
That's
road."
exactly right.
It's so cool. It's interesting to see that transition where she realizes the need for them, but still has tries to have a balance.
Well,
know?
I mean,
It's
New
hard.
Order is all about, she's talking about, trying to stop nuclear proliferation. And
Yeah.
then she's
Yeah.
at the end of season 1 of Atlantis, she's trying to increase nuclear proliferation.
Yeah.
So,
It's hard. It's a hard balance to strike when you're gonna die.
Yep.
Yeah, when you have so many people that are relying on you as well.
Yeah.
oh God, he's right.
Oh, she is gonna. And that's
You
why
have
she's
no idea, Daniel.
she's gonna change her opinion. She's got a long way to go. Yeah.
Gonna see the gate in action.
Is it just me, or is it a little bit cheap the way that they just jump into Atlantis going, "Hey, we found it," like 2 minutes in
We found what?
from this Atlantis?
Well, I
Because
mean,
they have all of this build up,
they had to move the
and then
story
it
along.
starts. I know. It's always felt a bit jarring.
Yeah.
I wish they futzed around with it a tiny bit more in SG1, just a tiny bit.
Well, it's what it's called New Order Part 1 and 2.
I know, but again, they were too busy with replicators.
There's a pretty good Weir B plot in the first hour. So
I absolutely love that. That's my favorite part of the whole thing. The replicator stuff, get out of the way. The weird stuff is actually my favorite.
yeah, the
of those
gold
two, so.
the gold stuff with Amaterasu and all of them is great. Oh, look at his face. He's like, I don't understand.
He's like, "Where's Hammond? of
Hammond, you've
Texas?"
lost a
Has he
few
fallen in
pounds.
battle?
Yeah,
You've grown
got-
some
grown some
hair.
hair. Yeah, exactly. Fallen in battle.
The way he's like disgusted looking at her, because to
I don't
him,
know if it's disgust,
no,
it's just like-
but to him, seeing her means like Hammond's died. That's his immediate assumption.
Yeah.
is that
His
he's
First,
lost
well,
someone.
he knows how
Power changes hands.
well, he knows that Hammond wouldn't go without a fight. So
No,
he's like, okay,
exactly,
why is
exactly.
this?
True.
Why is this happened? Yeah,
But I'm sure with the Jafar as well, like if someone dies, they immediately get replaced pretty quick. So he's like, "Oh,
Admiral Minel, Weir has one of the most tragic character arcs at the end. I'm seeing a lot of names I
I
haven't seen
know.
before. Welcome to all of
No.
you.
Yeah, I'm still, I can't wait to get to, that episode of Atlantis in like 5, 6 years. And
When you're turning 40.
I know, and just be devastated.
So a new president is installed in the United States on, I believe, the 20th of January. It is not the 20th of January in Washington, and it is certainly not the 20th of January at Cheyenne Mountain for the exterior shots. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And I made that point clear to Martin Wood. I said, you really should have gone down there and gotten winter shots at Cheyenne Mountain because there is winter there for more than half the year. And Martin said nothing about that. He just kept his mouth shut.
I meant hindsight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Puts it into
Hammond's the real
perspective.
president of like the world.
President of the world.
Well, he's the first line of defense.
It's absolutely mental. Like he really does have the hardest job.
Mm.
Yeah.
I like that they've got a prior relationship.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
It's an old it's an old one.
Yes.
That was
they
a lot of
obviously
hair ago.
have-
Was a great line.
Yes.
Yeah.
They obviously have a decent amount of respect for one another.
And Kinsey delivered Florida all by himself.
I know that's a good
The
thing.
elderly well, it's the elderly demographic is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it's referred to as America's stinky butt. So I don't know anything about Florida myself, but all I hear is that. So
There's a lot
I
of
imagine
Haitians
it's kind
down
of
there.
like I imagine it's kind of like Queensland in Australia. It's just very hot and sticky like all the time. And
yeah,
people go there to retire.
that
Thursday's
that
not
makes
good
sense.
for us. That's why I told Jessica when I did my interview with her. She's like, I felt so unprepared. I'm like, Jessica, Weir came in on a Monday. They got attacked on a Thursday. You were there for 3 days. Give yourself a
Yeah.
break. It's
Yeah.
okay that you were like
That's a good point.
wound up. And she laughed really hard at that, so she got it.
Yeah, give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself, Jessica. She handled this with quite a lot of grace, considering.
Yeah,
And she's got Kinsey trying to weasel his way in.
it's nice because it's quite a full circle moment again because Kinsey's back at this briefing room table arguing about the Stargate program again, just like in politics in season 1. And so
Yeah.
it's quite an emotional moment, to be honest. And again, I just want to say that I hadn't seen politics by this point. So when I first saw Kinsey was in season 4, that was confusing. And I hadn't seen politics, so I hadn't realized that he had tried to shut down the program like this before.
Oh my God.
So, again, the way I saw Stargate was awful.
Oh, I kind of like the symbolism of him sitting at one end of the very long table and then SG1 and Braytek sitting at the other.
Yeah.
It's just, they
My
obviously
autograph
have
from Ronnie is
opposite
actually of
views.
this shot here of him sitting here staring at them across the table from the opposite
snarling
view.
at them from across
Yeah.
the table. Okay.
That's my autograph I have from him.
Did you meet him in person or did you have to order the autograph?
my dad's friend actually went on my behalf, and anytime he went to a convention that had people who were in Stargate, he would just go straight in there and like get me whatever autographs he could. So he got me Ben Browder and Jason Momoa and Christopher Judge and Ronnie Cox, and I was like, damn, he's getting everyone. So
As a good friend.
yeah, I appreciated it greatly.
So Jack is about to use his first ancient word, Dorentus.
Yes.
So I think it's pretty safe to say that the ancient language has crept into his vocabulary a little faster than last time. So
It's got to go faster. They only got a
it's-
few days.
well, exactly. Yep. Condensed schedule. And I think it suggests as well that maybe the download was a little bit more significant than the first time around, or perhaps more
Or
aggressive.
Maybe he was more accustomed to it after the first time, so his brain was able to fast forward some of that learning.
Oh,
smidge.
I didn't think about that, but that actually makes a lot of sense. I like
Yeah.
that.
Like he developed neural
Yeah.
pathways for like learning
And
new
it kind of
things,
like
so-
it like expanded his brain and opened
Yeah.
up new pathways. And so yeah, I like that.
Thank you,
Also,
thank you.
we just heard him say his last for crying out loud. That is the last
Oh
time that he uses
no.
his catchphrase.
That's I'm getting sad now. We're like getting toward the end of this era of Stargate and we're entering a new one and I'm starting to get bummed out now. Um
I'm getting bummed out because like the Jack era is nigh, and
yeah.
that makes me very sad.
The only thing that makes me feel better is that the Vala era is incoming, so I'm
That's
excited.
true. That's true. And we've got some good seasons ahead, just
Yeah.
different seasons. And I am excited
Yeah.
to kind of fall in love with McKay
Oh, me too. Oh,
very,
I'm always
very
in love with McKay.
gradually.
Yep. I'm so honestly, I would do anything for that man. He is my world. He's so arrogant. He's such an ass, and I love him.
Oh, he's so on the spectrum. It's just not
I know. I
acknowledged.
think that's why I love him so much. I think that I just really, I because of how on the spectrum he is and how he can be. He's so frustrating, but he's
Yes.
so passionate to not die. That I really love how awful he becomes when he's trying to live. So,
Yes.
DEFCON 3, look at that. I love seeing when the DEFCON number moves when the apocalypse is incoming. It
I wonder
excites
whatever
me.
happened to that DEFCON sign.
By the way, audience, in case you haven't realized, David's said be right back to us privately. So that's why he hasn't spoken in a while. So just letting you know. Ah,
Okay,
I'm
so
excited.
I think Weir's like decision to consider Jack's proposal kind of shows she's willing to listen despite political pressure.
Yeah, she's
And
not
I
a
think that's
pushover.
huge because Kinsey's about to like throw some weight around in here.
Yeah. He's gonna swing that big old, I'm not gonna say it around.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't had a stroke.
Honestly, he's always so angry and so
It
like,
really
ready to
is.
commit a crime that I'm shocked. Gecko Fett said, never noticed a DEFCON moving up. Yeah, you're welcome. They said thanks. I'm not just saying you're welcome because, you're welcome. They said thanks. So,
Oh, he just thinks he can put everyone in his back pocket
I
and just
know.
no one is taking him up on his offer. Like including Woolsey in the last episode.
I think the only like thing that loves him in this world is his dog. And that's only because his dog doesn't realize he's the worst.
Oh, the dog,
Well, we're about to end
yes.
this episode. Just so FYI, everybody, the episode is ending for our versions. So as soon as Teal'c and Braytak walk through the gate and you see it cut back to Jack, that's where it ends if you want to pause it.
Yes.
But
So a
his
very
squared.
emotional kind of goodbye, like a potential final goodbye. I think
Yeah.
it really adds a lot of gravity to this situation. And Tilga's got
Yeah.
such a serious
At
look on his
least
face, like he thinks he's never going to see Jack again.
the nice thing about this time is that last time he was kind of trapped and he was like, I've got to go home. But like he didn't really have a home to go to the first time at the end of season one when this happened
Mm,
during politics. While this
yes.
time he's been able to secure a new home for himself and his family, thanks to the years of fighting. So it puts into perspective how much they've really changed everything after so
Mm.
long. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is the end of episode 1 for us. So if your episode
Yes, right there.
continues, please pause now.
Yeah. David, you came back just in time. I was just telling everyone a little bit. So
Yeah, sorry. Like, to quote Mrs. Doubtfire, excuse me, dear, call of nature.
That's not a bad
if you don't
accent.
emerge
It's a nice way to
from the episode with like cream all over your face after pieing
Cream
yourself
all over my
from
face.
from the fridge, yeah, putting on that fake face cream.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Did I scare you? It's a
I
little
wasn't sure where you were
cappuccino.
leading with that
You
cream
know
all
what?
over
That
your
went
face.
that went so unfortunately in the wrong direction. That was not what I was implying.
Anyway, no,
I,
no, no.
I want that noted.
No, call of nature, not call of nurture. All right, very good. All right.
Good episode.
Very good episode, considering it's half of a story.
Midway
Yeah.
That's
through,
it.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us for
Yeah.
Lost City Part 1.